So, we've all seen the Afterlives Revendreth and that Garrosh is being used as a reliable workhorse and that he is definitely present in the Shadowlands and will play some sort of a role. Not much was said by Blizzard or even datamined at this point, which is a bit ridiculous as Garrosh is one of the most important characters in all of Warcraft history. So, with some very heavy spoilers in this video, what could possibly await him? Will we defeat Garrosh again, or will Garrosh be redeemed? Brought to you by Gamivo.com. Pre-order Shadowlands and get cheaper game time with various offers available. Make sure to click my link in the description and use code DORON to get 3% off. So, it turns out that Revendreth isn't exactly what we thought it was. Revendreth is supposed to be a purgatory, a mechanism where prideful and sinful souls come to redeem for their mistakes in life and ultimately to find peace. They have a million different methods and extractions, but ultimately the goal is to get rid of the bad stuff and to send them towards other realms in the simplest terms. This is, of course, if Shadowlands is working properly and there isn't a huge crisis going on as is happening at the moment. Well, from what we have seen, it doesn't seem like Revendreth is working as intended in the slightest, to say the least. The case of Keltas is the best example, where he's not only being not redeemed, but instead they just stacked on a million different sins on him to further burden his soul. Seeing that Keltas was incredibly powerful in life, Denathrius, the leader of Revendreth, is literally building him into a weapon of destruction, which is severely endangering his soul and at the same time endangering Shadowlands as a whole. Additionally, as we have seen from the Afterlives animated video, there is a huge shortage of anima, soul energy, all across the different realms of death. This is obviously due to the jailer getting stronger and the machine of death breaking throughout all these years and now ultimately breaking. So Denathrius and the ruling elite is essentially milking every last drop they can get from the denizens of Revendreth while they're organizing quite devious plans. These devious plans being just minor things such as working directly with the jailer and sending all the anima reserves to the maw in order to further destabilize the Shadowlands. Now, Garrosh was seen chained up underneath Castle Denathria, which is also the first raid of the upcoming expansion. Denathrius refers to him as a reliable workhorse, and he seems to be constantly draining anima from his no doubt powerful, very powerful soul. Now, aside from that, there is almost no information about him that we know at this point. Garrosh wasn't really seen in the beta, and there is just one single datamined ability called Summon Garrosh, but it is about it from the crumbs that were thrown our way. Seeing that the raid or dungeon ability is there and that Garrosh was shown in the Afterlife short, there is no doubt that he'll play some sort of a role, but honestly, options are endless at the moment, and he could be anything from a minor boss to a major boss to a future leading character to a villain to a good guy. Now, it is obvious that at the moment they're just draining him and empowering their own plans, but it is also possible that they could go further and use him as a weapon, and that we might be able to fight him in some sort of a patch in a raid or a dungeon. Then I could see us defeating Garrosh and freeing him, and then what would happen, who really knows? If they decide to go the redemption arc storyline, I think it would be a bit stupid if Garrosh was fully redeemed, as if he didn't ban a bomb Terramore or kill many innocent civilians or create a civil war, but we could free him from this corrupted machinery of Revendreth and then send him towards actual justice and possible peace in the future, and not just constant torture for the sake of, well, empowering the jailer. There could definitely be a good storyline with Troll if he returns, because we know he's present in the Shadowlands. Maybe they could have a Makura, this time without Troll actually cheating, or maybe Troll can forgive him and Garrosh could finally see his mistakes, as honestly I never really saw Garrosh as completely irredeemable. Sure, Garrosh was arrogant without measure, sure he was insanely prideful, but he was also honorable to an extent as an Orcish warrior, and I think if humbled enough, he could see the error of his ways and his soul might be able to find some rest in the future. While he was definitely filled with flaws, he also had many virtues, which, as the son of Garrosh Hellscream, is obviously the strength of mind, just pure sheer willpower, which is exactly why he's a reliable workhorse for the elite of Revendreth. Additionally, there is also an interesting theory going around that maybe Garrosh could be returned to the physical world, in particular alternate Draenor. After all, he did essentially create the planet as we know it, or at least played a role in that entire mess. As you might know, alternate Draenor at the moment was overtaken by fanatical Light Draenei, and the Orcs have essentially been enslaved and forced to serve the Light. Maybe Garrosh could lead a new Iron Horde expedition to free them from oppression, which, while very cheesy, would definitely make sense, as I honestly expect the expansion after Shadowlands to include the Light and the Void and some sort of a battle between the two. Aside from that, it is really hard to speculate on much more until Shadowlands begins, and we just see how the story unravels. Obviously, the fate of Garrosh is now directly tied to Denathrius and Revendreth, and depending on what happens to those two, we will know the fate of Garrosh Hellscream. Thank you for watching. Check out whether Savannas can be redeemed by clicking on the screen, and also check out Doronsmovies Academy for videos on real world history and science. See you next time.